Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars. My name is Mason.
Hi, Mason. I'm Josh.
I'm Colin.
And we have a special guest today. Go ahead. Sorry.
And my name is Brad.
Yes, this is Brad Denny. This is someone that we actually also work with in a galaxy far, far away. Really cool. He's a
wonderful man. Wonderful.
Yes,
man.
He's a great guy. He's a big Star Wars fan as well. He has a lot of signatures that are worth a lot of credits. And yeah, so he's a great guy, and he will be joining us this week.
And he's got a lot of valued opinions on a lot of these wonderful topics we're going to be talking about today, such as about big news. Ahsoka's filming. I'm sure most of you have seen that little photo on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you see it on social media, where it's Dave Filoni's hat sitting gently on the back of a set chair with the Ahsoka logo on it. We're all very excited about that. It's our girl. We're loving it. Han Solo's dad's first appearance. We've got a new lightsaber coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and we've got a review coming up from Colin Weir about Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Right. Michael Waldron has begun work on a Kevin Feige produced Star Wars movie and more. So we're looking forward to talking about that for you.
All right, well, let's get into the news.
So are you starting in order, or is there something that you wanted to talk about?
We can just jump right in. So
how are we not going to talk about Ahsoka first?
I'm really excited about the lightsabers. That's the one I'm really excited about.
Okay, so on Star Wars Day, those came out, and it was Luminara's and Asajj Ventress's. Which
is it possible to get some pictures of those by chance on screen?
Is that we can do? Well, the fact that we're mainly an audio podcast really doesn't.
That's well. If you guys can imagine Ventress or Luminara's,
but yeah. Here's the thing: it's Ventress's new yellow one. But
yeah,
I'm interested on why it's the exact same one that Darth Maul has on his side.
Wait, say
so
that.
You know, Darth Maul's new reforged one.
Yeah,
it's the exact same one as that new part that screws in. It just turns yellow. That's the only difference.
Huh.
Does it come in an Oga Gera box?
Luminara's comes in a white box. And it's got like the Jedi's like symbol, and it's like, you know, like a yellowish gray greenish color.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm looking at.
Surprisingly, those did not sell out on Star Wars Day. I was really hoping that we would get Obi-Wan's on that day, because Kenobi's coming up, which we also got a May 4th trailer, which I know they talked about on the last podcast. But from the four of us, what were your thoughts on the new one, Brad?
It's pretty cool. I didn't even know she had a yellow lightsaber, to be honest. So I'm interested in seeing that hilt, and don't know why it has the same pieces as the other one, but
is Asajj's yellow? Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
What?
That's interesting.
That's
So
what a weird choice. Why?
I don't know. But what was your thoughts on the new trailer that came out on May 4th last week?
I thought it was really awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do in that time frame with Obi-Wan. So
I revved up my hope, man. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
I just like that hilt. It's cool, the black and silver.
Yeah,
I want to see the Inquisitors fly with their double-bladed sabers, like helicopter style on
259 inches.
So bad.
I'm curious how the Obi-Wan series is gonna end, though, because it's like we already know what happens to him in A New Hope. So is it just gonna be like, well, I'll continue watching Luke? You know?
Spoiler: Obi-Wan dies in the series.
I kind of wish we got to see him face off with Darth Maul, but I know that they did that in Rebels, so. But that would have been cool to see live action.
It would, but man, like, would it
Yes.
negate the effect that or the impact that Maul and Obi-Wan had on in Rebels?
Well, my thing is,
let me think.
for
Apparently my mic's clicking.
for those who don't watch the cartoons, and they just watch the Solo movie, Darth Maul kind of shows up in that one, and then they don't really know like why he's still alive.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of wish they would continue that live action so that people that maybe only watch the movies will be able to know, oh, Darth Maul's alive for this reason, like if they don't know why he got his metal legs.
I don't think so. This is definitely something that we talked about in the past where people were like, well, why doesn't Darth Maul show up in the Kenobi series? At this point in time, Darth Maul doesn't know that Obi-Wan is alive. So if Maul did make an appearance in the show, it would be a cameo of where he's on the planet Nur, of where they have the Inquisitor Fortress. Maybe he's in prison by Vader.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be the cameo of where like Vader goes and talks to Maul, and that would be a really, really cool scene. Because of in Rebels, we know that he does escape, and then the Inquisitors like see Maul and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Maul. And then funny enough, they actually both appear in the same episode, but they don't talk to each other. Like Maul and Vader don't talk to each other or anything in that episode.
The thing I'm really crossing my fingers for in this Obi-Wan is for Liam Neeson to not necessarily show up, but even if his voice could be there, because
he definitely
even in
will.
the cartoons, like he's
He
like
definitely
talking to him, like if he was talking to him about Anakin or
Yeah.
like how to manifest like a Force ghost.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a huge Liam Neeson fan. I would just love to have him be part of the Obi-Wan series in some capacity.
So here's my thing. I think he will, and the reason why I think he will show up is because of he showed up in Clone Wars, and that's a cartoon TV show. If like this is a big opportunity and a great opportunity for him to come back, you know, he's been saying in interviews lately like, oh no, I won't come back unless it's a movie.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want? What do you want him to be talking to Obi-Wan about? Like, what do you think?
We'll definitely teach him how to become a Force Ghost.
Force Ghost is probably like our number one thing.
I kind of also want to see him still like thinking Anakin is the chosen one, and
Yeah.
telling him like, hey, like keep watching his son or whatever,
Yeah.
and like
I think he'll
he's
be
gonna
like
be
his,
redeemed or
yeah.
like, yeah.
I think he's gonna be Obi-Wan's therapist. Like,
That'd be cool.
yeah, because
he's gonna be pretty much living in a cave and kind of
Yeah.
like,
Because like
feeling like he messed up with Anakin.
Because most like if you were just smart, you would just cut yourself off from the Force and go start your own families or whatever you want to. But you feel like Qui-Gon's gonna be the one like, don't cut yourself off from the Force. You need to stay focused, all this kind of stuff, and like keep fighting for a reason. And then your reason is Luke. Because I feel like I think all the Jedi are like that right now, like just give up. So it'd be pretty cool to have it like be like Obi-Wan being told by Qui-Gon to like keep like your faith in the Force, even though it feels like he's lost it up until this point.
Yeah, because at this point he only knows that Yoda is the only other one that's alive. Like he
Right.
doesn't know about Ezra or
no.
anyone else. Or I don't know if is Kanan still alive at this point.
Yes. So this is taking place 10 years before the events of this is taking place 10 years before the events of A New Hope, and this is taking place 10 years after the battle.
Please.
of Mustafar.
Please. Cal Kestis, please.
And then also something else that a lot of people weren't talking about is they actually dropped a new image from Variety magazine, I believe. And it shows Obi-Wan on the new planet that looks like Nar Shaddaa. And if you look in the background, there's a character wearing a hat, right? It looks very similar to Cad Bane's.
I would love to see more Cad Bane,
Right.
because I just felt like with the Boba Fett series, spoiler if somebody hasn't seen it already, but I felt like we needed more of him. Like he's probably my favorite bounty hunter with the whole like Western feel, and I just felt like we could have got a little bit longer action sequence with him. So I would love to see more Cad Bane.
Yeah.
But kind of circling back to
Howdy.
the first day of the Ahsoka series, I think this is going to be a great series just because there's more maybe creative freedom, in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
The Obi-Wan series, while it's going to be amazing, we all love Ian McGregor and everything, but it's kind of set between that time frame between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and he's
You
just
feel
going
like
to be
it's way
watching
more
Luke.
locked in to where they
and
have
we're-
to get things going. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's kind of an open book with Ahsoka. Hopefully, we can see
Something
Thrawn
new.
and-
Yeah.
it'll be fun. And it's
Hey, I'm
Filoni's
back.
child, so like he's definitely gonna want to do some really great stuff with that.
That's true.
I'm not sure how long Ahsoka's race. How long do they usually live for?
What?
Like,
Yeah.
because you
Cad
They
Bane?
live?
know Ahsoka.
Oh,
How-
Ahsoka?
Do you know
Okay.
how long like her?
Can't they
species
live for
lives
like 100 and something years?
So it depends.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
look this up
So,
before I make a fool of myself.
yeah. It depends on the species because of a Duros, which is Cad Bane species. They normally live up to just before 70 or just after 70. If you live up past 70, you are considered like an elder to their people, and that's a high honor. And then Cad Bane just made it past 70. So
like I don't know how many seasons they'll do like of Ahsoka. Like how is she getting?
I was
This is-
wrong.
Is she getting up there?
this is Dave Filoni's baby. Like, like
I mean, the speculation is that we finally get
Yeah.
a live action version of like
Yeah.
the Veil, or like the little Shadow Realm timey-wimey stuff going on. And that's something I'm really, really excited for, is to finally see that on screen and get that into live action. Start confusing people again. I mean, I feel like that would be fun. Just
Yeah.
like adding something very new and that people could actually talk about and speculate and
I got it.
get converse again with.
To Gruten's, the average lifespan is up to 94 years.
Hmm.
So not too far off from,
that's not bad.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Like what you pointed out, Josh. I can't wait for Force time stuff to start happening again.
Yeah, Force time stuff would be interesting.
The Ahsoka tune into that and start becoming like one of the first Jedi that we see that's going to be like manipulating time potentially on a regular basis. Sort of
I
like
mean,
Doctor
as we
Strange.
talked
I don't
about
know
before, I
if we'll
think
go
one of
that
the
far.
things that would be really cool if we get to see is like kind of her being able to see and then us seeing through the veil, or like what she's seeing of the beginning of the Jedi, where they came from.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we know, but I want to see that on like screen and for people to really get the history of how long this has been going for. I think that'd be really cool to be able to like show off all these different eras and all this different
really
progression of the Jedi themselves.
I would love for them to like. That would be a great place to dip their toe into the water of the Old Republic as well, and pre-Old Republic when we're looking at like the Rakatans and we're talking about things like Jeddah and the Jedi homeworld. Can't remember if that was Jeddah or if there's because there are two that are like really strong force points that are considered like the homeworld of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what all are. But I think that'd be a good place to dip their toe into the water and sort of see how fans react, and then go from there. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
Even then, I mean, even if none of that stuff happens, finally getting to see like Sabine Wren live action. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Sabine. I want to see Ezra live action super bad.
Everyone's going for Thrawn.
Yeah.
Everyone is
Thrawn,
going for Thrawn.
I don't know if we're gonna see him. Are we seeing him in Ahsoka? Or are we seeing him pop up somewhere different first? Like it's gonna be like Mandalorian first stuff, kind of.
We know we're getting Mandalorian season 3 before Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We know that for a fact, and it's falling into the line of now Ahsoka is popping up in almost every single show that we see live action now. So I could definitely see Ahsoka appearing in
Obi-Wan.
as a flashback because they're
Okay,
definitely
yeah.
having Clone Wars flashbacks.
Yeah.
But something big that will happen very, very soon will be Ahsoka, probably asking help from Mando, being like, "Hey, listen, I know where this Jedi is. It will benefit Grogu in some way. Can you come with us, please?" And it'll be like, "Sure, let's go on an adventure." And yeah,
Boba Fett will show up for a couple
I think
episodes.
he's kind of given up being a bounty hunter just because he's getting this new ship that's a Naboo fighter. Like, if he had bounties, like, where would he really keep them? Do
That
you
is
think
a
it's
good
kind of
point.
heading towards that?
it is called the space trailer. You just attach it to the back, and then
Like
you
a
just go
U-Haul?
through hyperspace. Yes, exactly.
Throw the
Yeah.
bounty in the U-Haul in the back.
Yeah. So no,
It's a great idea.
yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like a sidecar, tie him up and put him in like a sidecar.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah. So Kenobi's coming up in a couple of weeks. Celebration's coming up in a couple of weeks. Very, very exciting stuff.
They'll probably show a preview for the Andor
Yes.
Disney Plus show coming out,
Oh,
which is going to be before Mando season 3 even.
Yep. They will be dropping that at Celebration. All of the new.
What are you
Forgot about
wanting
that.
from that show? What are you wanting from that show? What would be something that you'd be really keen on seeing from that show?
We keep seeing the dark and grittiness of the Empire. I want to see the dark and grittiness of the Rebel Alliance. Because
we have though, haven't we? With, like
Not-
Saw Gerrera?
in Rogue
There's a
One,
lot of
yeah,
Saw Gerrera.
sure, right.
Isn't it supposed to be like a spy thriller?
Yes, yeah.
this show?
It
then, like,
will be a show. So
We see Saw Gerrera in Rebels as well. Like there's a lot of Saw Gerrera that's shown. Obviously, we see him early in the Clone Wars. It's not exactly what we're talking about at the moment. But as he grows up, we see him in Rebels. He has a couple cameos where he's doing crazy
right,
stuff.
but this is gonna have nothing to do with Saw. Like,
But I mean, in
the
regards
main
to like
focus will be Cassian.
greatness of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like we definitely do see on screen some areas where the rebellion is like, maybe they're not always the good guys. However, I will agree with you. I am excited to see potentially that and see what's up with that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see just more of Cassian Andor as a whole.
Seeing more of like ends
he's a
justify
cool-
the means kind of like
Yeah.
combat on
Yeah.
screen would be really cool. Seeing like the beginnings of the rebellion, I think, would be very interesting. I mean, yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of it, but I don't like. I would be very. I'd be happy if we get more gray areas in Star Wars. Getting more gray areas always makes me really happy.
Hey Liam. But yeah, and also for the time of Endor, during this point, it's gonna be not this season maybe, but the next season will most likely be overlapping with the events of Rebels because of Cassian will probably be part of one of the Rebel cells that like along the side of Phoenix Squadron, because a Phoenix Squadron was a Rebel cell as well.
Mhm.
So I think
This is
what
what I was
Cassian
thinking
will
about.
mainly be doing is he'll be trying to, which they were kind of hinting at in Rebels, was just them trying to figure out about the Death Star, and no one really knew about it. And I think we'll definitely dive deeper into that. We know Ian McDermott is probably going to reprise the Emperor again, and in Kenobi most likely because he hinted at it, and Endor, which makes sense because the Empire. Would it be as a hologram? Would it be like a scene in a throne room or something? We'll have to see.
Who knows if we'll
I don't know
see
what to
him in his
expect.
throne room again.
Yeah,
But only a couple weeks, we should
I know.
hopefully have a better idea.
I know.
I think finally seeing Vader with like in his meditation chamber would be great.
I want to see him actually, which we kind of got a hint at that in the news trailer of him actually putting on the suit, and it actually shows his breathing pad. Like there's like 4 giant needles, right, and it just like presses directly into his chest, and you're just like, this is not him just putting on a suit every single day. Like over the all right, time to get to work.
It's like a torture device.
Yes.
Keeping him in constant agony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's the dark side.
it's gonna
Now,
be crazy.
did they say that? Are they only having flashback scenes between Obi-Wan and Vader in the Obi-Wan series, or is this? Are
They're
they
gonna
going to
meet up.
actually fight again? Because I thought
They actually will meet up and they will have an actual fight as Vader and Obi-Wan. The flashback scenes are going to be as Obi-Wan and Anakin. So like back in the Clone Wars.
because like wasn't it canon before though that Obi-Wan hadn't
Seen
fought
him since
Vader,
Mustafar.
like, yeah.
So that was only implied, and their biggest loophole for them fighting in this show is the line that Vader says in A New Hope, where he's like, I haven't felt a presence like this since, and then he walks away. He doesn't say when. He doesn't say anything
wouldn't
about
even
it.
be a loophole because I mean, yeah, he could
Yeah.
be referencing whatever happens in Obi-Wan.
Right. And but before it was implied, oh, he's talking about Mustafar.
Yeah.
Like, but now they're like, nah, we're talking about the events in Kenobi.
I would love to have been in the research room when they were trying to find out if Obi-Wan could intersect with Vader in this series. Like people just like rapidly flipping through pages. Like, I know the fans are gonna find something. I know they're gonna find something. So we need to find it first.
Yeah.
Just the absolute frantic searching that they were doing.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to explore in the Kenobi series, and also in that new trailer, we also saw Forlom, which is one of the classic bounty hunters, from Empire Strikes Back, and ironically, he wasn't in the Book of Boba Fett.
I was hoping to see more bounty hunters.
I
like
know.
Dengar, Bossk, maybe.
I wanted to see Bossk and in the Book of Boba so bad because I was like, he's a Trandoshian. You have Black Chrysanthemum. That would have been a great rivalry, like when they were fighting in the streets, and then I could see them being like Legolas and Gimli from Lord of the Rings, and being like, hey, guess what? I got 12. Well, guess what? I'm at 17. Like I could definitely see them like fighting in the streets and like kind of having that sort of
fighting
thing.
over the same
Or
bounty.
fighting each other. If Bossk gets sided with Cad Bane, would have been really cool too.
Yeah.
This might be unpopular opinion too. Is like as good as the Mandalorian like episodes were in the Book of Boba Fett, like some of the best episodes of the Boba Fett season. I kind of wish they'd save that for Mando's own season.
Everyone
So
feels
then
that way, bro. everyone who
some
feels
people
that
are
way.
like, oh, but that like made the series so much better. But
No, it made it better because it had nothing to do with Boba.
That's so rough.
sad to say.
It is sad to say, but it's very true because it's just like no
Well-
joke. Like I thought it was great. We're getting more Star Wars, but then Mando shows up and Boba doesn't even make a cameo in one of the episodes. He's just mentioned.
Well, the thing is, some people that aren't as big into Star Wars, they say like I always get confused which ones you watch first. You watch 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3.
There's
And
a perfect timeline.
All fans like have their own like way of watching movies, but then you get into these Mandalorian episodes, and it's like, okay, you got to watch seasons 1 and 2, and then if you want to know why Baby Yoda came, I say Baby Yoda still, but Grogu. If you want to know why Grogu came back to him, you got to watch 2 episodes of Boba Fett before you go on to season 3 of this. Like, try explaining that to someone.
Right. Well, and
True.
that's
like that.
that's really the main reason why that they made the Book of Boba Fett, because they were like, you know what, if we do this and bring them into the show, then when we do season 3, people have to watch the Book of Boba Fett. That way we'll get more views, and they'll watch the episodes with Mando and Grogu, and then they'll go watch season 3 of the Mandalorian.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to believe that's the reason that it was just for some crappy marketing gimmick.
Yeah, but
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, some producer in there was just like, oh, you know what we could do? We could definitely put like a couple of Mando episodes in there. How cool would that be? People would love that. They love the Mandalorian. They love Grogu right now. They're super
I think
popular.
it was always meant to be like
We could
2
throw
and a
some
half
in there.
Mandalorian season. It was, even though it's called Book of Boba Fett, it was always like
it felt like the
meant
first
to be
episode
entertaining.
when Mando popped up in that, and like in the episode that he did, I felt like the opening of a new season because of because it was like, oh my gosh, it will be a reveal, and then he shows up, and the reason why it felt like an actual like first episode from like a new season was because Boba didn't even show up. Boba wasn't even like the focus of the episode. He was mentioned at the very end for maybe like 20 seconds, and then you go to the next episode, and Boba makes a cameo in his own show. That's not how it should have been.
I mean, if you had the title changed like Mandalorian and then the subtext underneath it is the Book of Boba Fett, is that better for you? Or is it literally just because it's air quotes his show?
Yeah.
Because we know that it goes in chapters and then you see it as a chapter and you're like,
Right.
oh, okay, it's still Mandalorian, but it's Boba Fett's part of the Mandalorian. And as long as you can grasp it in that kind of view, I'm okay with it because it's still Mandalorian. This is just Boba Fett's little part. And then we have Mandalorian stuff. It's not directly a Boba Fett show. I feel like if we had said that from the beginning and not just done like, it's the chapters, there you go. And it's called the Book of Boba Fett, but I feel like that goes over a lot of people's heads when it comes to that kind of thing.
Wouldn't it be cool if they did like other Disney Plus series and like Book of Boba Fett was like the first one, and then they had like the Book of Dengar, and then like just
and
then,
they're all
like
like that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then those characters would make cameos in their own shows. Yeah.
Do you think we'll see? I'm curious. Bringing it back to Andor, do you think we'll see young Solo?
Who?
A young Han Solo?
I'm not counting on it.
I'm skeptical about it, but I figured I would pose the question just in case.
There's gonna be any like main series characters that might pop up.
Leia and Bail Organa would probably be the only one.
Mon Mothma. I want to see Mon Mothma.
Yes, that's pretty much a guarantee. Like he's talking more of like, you know, like Luke, Han, Leia, like not those characters that are part of the Rebel Alliance. Of course, those characters will show up.
She's a big one.
Who's someone from like expanded universe that you would like to see in that series that you think that they could bring in that
Dash Rendar.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Dash Rendar,
exactly.
like no joke. If like him and the Outrider, like I will be done. I will be done. That is an actual playable ship, and then the new Lego Star Wars game, and I lost it. Funny. Yeah, I lost it. I was like,
I want to see for 64.
Yeah,
like, playing as him is so
cool. My gosh, bro, I love that character. He is very similar to Han Solo, but yeah. Go ahead.
I want to see Thane Kyrell from the book Lost Stars. If any of you have read that, reaching out to my book community here, I would really like to see.
There you go.
I don't know if they show up though.
Wait, who? All right, you guys. I do want to say I apologize for Mason's audio. I did want to say, but
sorry. I will figure out fixing it. May have to get a new mic. I don't know what's up.
No, it's not your mic. It is your internet. You are lagging so bad on your end, bro.
I don't know what's up.
Yeah, but yeah, no. There are, I think we might see a
Is this better?
Grand Moff Tarkin again. I could see him coming back. Yeah. I could see him coming back. I could see the Emperor coming back. This would be a great time for like to see maybe Thrawn in there, but as like a captain. I mean, well, like at that point, he would be just an admiral, or he would be like, because
I could see him Admiral Tarkin because we saw him last in the Bad Batch, and in Bad Batch he was Admiral Tarkin.
Oh no, Thrawn. I'm talking about Thrawn.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thrawn would be a really cool cameo.
Is there anyone you would want to play Thrawn? I know at one point there was a fan casting for Benedict Cumberbatch, but like he said, like he doesn't want to do that. Though.
There's also a fan casting for Robert Downey Jr. to do it, and I was like, no.
I haven't heard that.
But a couple of months back, Rosario Dawson actually kind of leaked and accidentally said who's going to be playing who. So the actor who plays from the live action Aladdin, so that guy's going to be playing Ezra.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's going to be playing Thrawn is the voice of Thrawn from Rebels, which makes total sense.
Oh,
to me.
really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Skarsgård,
that's
baby.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's a great actor. If you would like to see any of his recent work, I suggest watching season 1 and 2 of The Witcher. Because he actually plays like a big part in that series. And I see Josh's face and he's very confused. But yeah, no, I'm expecting to see more military people from the Empire to show up in the show. I'm expecting to see some veterans of the Clone Wars to show up in the show as well. I don't think we'll see Rex or anything because at that point, the timeline of Rebels hasn't really happened. I think we could see Hera make a cameo or two in there.
Oh,
I could see Kanan as well because at that point, Kanan and Hera have met up at this point. Which that would be great to see Freddie Prinze Jr. actually show up as live action.
Do you think
Kanan.
so? This is sort of near the start of the Empire that Andor is going to be taking place, right?
No, this will be a couple of years before the events of Star Wars Rebels. So it's not like we're seeing like a young kid version of Caspian.
We think that we may see characters as much as like bad guys? We may see bad guy clone troopers like Cody after he's turned.
The clones should be wiped out at this point. Not all of them, but they should be completely swapped over. Yeah, phased out. So
no Bad Batch or anything?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I mean, who knows?
Showing up live action.
I would love to see them in live action.
I would love Wrecker in live action. It would be hilarious. I'm curious to see who they would cast for that.
Did they ever explain how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber? Like, do you think they would ever show that live action?
Moff Gideon would be another great person to show up in the show.
Yeah. Oh my god. That would be such a good pick.
Because he got it when they ended up doing like the second purge of Mandalore, and that happened shortly after the events of season 4 Rebels because he takes it from Bo-Katan. Right. So actually, you know what? I don't think we would see the purge of the. I think it's Purge or it's Siege of Mandalore. I can't remember because there's like so many things that have happened on the planet Mandalore. But yeah,
Siege of Mandalore was Clone Wars. I think it's
right. So Purge. Okay,
Purge is the better word for it.
Yeah,
so, I believe on Mandalore they called it like 1,000 Tears or something like that, but in their language, it's translated.
But yeah, in other news. I mean, it's through a comic. I mean, it's fine, but it's adding to the canon. But in the new Marvel Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca comic book series, we actually get to see Han Solo's dad for the very first time.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, the comic begins on Corellia, and he's talking to his dad as a kid, so it's like before the events of Solo, and then a fast forward to later in the timeline, and he's punching his dad in the face, and his dad and his dad has an eye patch. Yeah, so that's interesting.
That explains a lot.
Yep.
I see him.
Do you think that this is gonna stick? Cool. Because remember, like a few years ago, they came out and said like Han had a wife, and then it ended up that they weren't actually married.
Yeah.
Like, do you think like they're gonna say, "Oh, Han's dad"?
It's just his adopted dad. We don't know who his actual dad is. This is just like he's not actually related to him. He's just the one that grew up with him a little bit or something like that.
Yeah. They will come up with something.
I feel like something is like just need to remain kind of.
It's until they come up with a better idea they can put on screen.
Oh, and then in the actual if you go on StarWars.com, and it shows you like the sneak peek of it, they're on the Falcon and everything, and it sounds like This, which is kind of unfortunate for fans, if this is true, for any hope if there was going to be like a Solo 2 of that storyline of being where it actually shows Han and Chewie doing the job for Jabba, and then they end up like dropping the shipment. It sounds like this is the job because Greedo is on the Falcon with them, and his dad.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
neat.
think his dad kind of looks like Old Man Logan. Like, just with like a knife patch, though.
yeah.
Dude. He looks like a captain.
He you know what? He kind of looks like Sean Connery.
I can see that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Solo Han. Yes.
Well, I guess
Han
we're not getting that in
Solo.
live action.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. Again, for any hope of Solo 2 ever happening with that storyline, I think that's going to be out the window if this ends up being true.
I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get anything like that. It's unfortunate that I believe they can't get Donald Glover at the moment. I feel like we've talked about this before.
But isn't
I don't
Donald
think
Glover
they can
getting
get
his own like Disney Plus show?
It's in the talks
don't
right
think
now. It sounds like there's a lot of conflict with the script and the actor as well.
I think he's currently signed a contract to Amazon, something like that.
Isn't he
Yeah.
making Atlanta right now? Atlanta like season 3?
I think
Yeah,
so.
something like that. So
Not
I
only does
think
he have
they
that,
will
he also has
play
his
Lando.
music because he like directs Atlanta, if I'm wrong. Don't know, but he's putting all his effort into Atlanta, and then he's doing his music. He does like a revolving door of like what he's doing. So it'd be like film,
He loves
TV
the
show,
Lando, though, so
like,
like,
yeah.
I think he'll try to
music.
make it
It'd
happen.
be interesting.
I think that
Disney's got the
Star
money
Wars
to
Celebration-
wave in front of his face. He'll do it.
Yeah. I think when Star Wars Celebration comes out, I think that like of when Star Wars Celebration happens, all these things that we're talking about will be more light will be shed on the subject, especially with like so many projects because of the biggest one, especially for Josh. I know this is like close to heart to him, would be the new Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes!
Yeah.
My goodness, please.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite stuff.
I want to see it because I remember being at the panel for the first game, and I remember going in blind of being like, all right, there's a poster. It's that poster right over there, actually. There's a poster where he was standing on the mountain, like seeing an old Jedi cruiser in the ice, and then that was it. And had the title. I was like, cool. What's this about? And then watching the trailer of him being on the run and just fighting these Purge troopers, I'm like, this is great. Which we actually do see Purge troopers in the new trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which that again ties into.
How did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool if we could see Purge troopers in action in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Oh my god. These guys are so awesome.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that. I think that's probably one of my biggest things because I love that game. I know a lot of people love that game, and when they dropped the lightsaber over at Galaxy's Edge, I know a lot of people like freaked out about it. And you can buy 2, and it has a connector piece where you can make like the dual-bladed lightsaber and everything. And I know the actor has definitely been down for more projects because he got great feedback for doing Jedi Fallen Order. He wants to do live action. He's a great actor in real life.
There's so many places that he can fit in right now.
Yeah,
I think would be great. But the thing is, I think he has a really interesting story as to what he's doing right now. Because he's going off to go and find more Jedi and more Force-sensitive people, and they're going to do their own thing. That's where we've left the story for now.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to what he has so many different places that he can fit in and help out in and bring new interesting things to it. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do with it.
Okay, so here is my prediction of what would happen. So we know that Obi-Wan is leaving Tatooine because there's a Jedi that was in distress. Now, let's say Obi-Wan finds this Jedi, right? But Cal Kestis shows up at the same time. And then Cal Kestis is like, oh my gosh, I've got you on this holocron. You're Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then we end up seeing we end up seeing like Vader show up, and he's like, "Yeah, I fought him once. It didn't go well." Like of just something like that, like of just something in the lines of that would be crazy. And honestly, Cal Kestis is a fan favorite right now. Everyone, as great as it was to see Luke and Mandalorian season 2 at the end of it, a lot of people were hoping it was going to be Cal Kestis showing up.
I think the crossover from a video game main
Yeah.
character to actual like on film would be
Yeah.
mind
Would be
blowing.
insane.
I've been wanting
the gaming community.
Yeah.
I love how if you ever watch the behind the scenes thing on Disney Plus for that, it was originally Plo Koon in the
Plo, yeah.
yeah, and so they could hide that it was Luke.
I actually like, to me, Plo Koon used to be my favorite Jedi. Like,
cool.
Yeah, he's
He's really cool, and his story's really cool in Clone Wars.
I want to know more about him.
He was also the only Jedi that could use Force Lightning, but it was called Force Judgment, and I was like,
It's yellow.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's so cool.
As hell.
I
had no idea.
Yep.
I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you could just use dark side stuff and just change the name.
Well,
He's the one who found Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
And that's why him and her are the only ones that the clones respect the most.
Yeah,
because they
were also trying to make. All right, so if you watch Attack of the Clones, there is that one scene when Obi-Wan goes to Yoda and and is trying to find out why Kamino isn't on the star like map, and there is
lost a planet
there's a
Kenobi has.
Yes, and there is a girl that is the same species as Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni and George tried so hard to make it canon that was Ahsoka, but at that point she was way too young, and she wouldn't like fit the thing, like of the fit in the timeline, because of the Clone Wars movie is supposed to happen like very shortly after like Attack of the Clones, so it wouldn't make sense for her to be a small kid,
right,
and then show her, being like 13, 14 years old.
It was really cool in Return of the Jedi too, when they said the one guy was Rex.
Yes, that is technically canon. That is technically canon. That in Return of the Jedi, that one guy with a white beard and the helmet is Captain Rex. And a lot of people don't like that, but you know what? It's canon.
I like it.
I like it. I think it's cool.
I'm right with that too. That's very cool. It's funny how that worked out, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think the Boba Fett actor is going to be playing Rex in the future?
Yes. 100%. That would be so dumb to like have someone else
show up first. Then
Ahsoka.
Really?
I could see. Okay, actually, you know what? I think here's my hope. Is that when we and this is my pipe dream, is that one of the episodes for Kenobi will be a filler episode, and no joke, it will just be a live action Clone Wars episode. That is my dream.
There's only 6 episodes.
I
don't want filler episodes.
I know, but think about it, how great it would be though for it to be like a flashback scene that would be able to coordinate with with the current timeline in the series, and then unlike Obi-Wan is just having a flashback, or Anakin is having a flashback, where the whole episode is nothing but like a Clone Wars episode, and then Tom like Kane opens it and it's like a galaxy divided. Like how cool would that be? How cool would that be to like dive into that and they're like having a full out like big battle, and you see clones and Obi-Wan and Anakin wearing their full out like Clone Wars outfits and everything. I would lose it. Everyone would lose it.
Or Obi-Wan has flashbacks of the Clone Wars animated series, and there's this sudden jarring twist from like live action to animated.
I would die. I would be so mad. I would be like, no, it's got to be live action. Of seeing them in their Clone Wars outfits would be a dream come true. I think everyone would lose it if that happens. And I could see them doing of maybe the opening of the show, like of one of the episodes would be like Clone Wars, and then halfway through it would kind of like what they did with the Book of Boba Fett, but not extreme. I don't want them to do what they did with Book of Boba, where it jumped from, oh hey, I'm taking a nap, and then he's having like we are catching up in the timeline, because so many people were confused.
can I stray off a little bit?
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Cobb Vanth. So, like, do you think we're going to see him show up a lot more after he got his shoulder shot by Cad Bane?
He's a mod now.
is
I don't
he
like that.
Do you think he's going to show up a lot more in maybe season 3? Or do you think
Yeah.
we're just going to see his story maybe continue in a comic or something?
I could see him. Okay, well, I don't think they would have the after credit scene. And then continue his story in a comic. I think they would continue his story live action, and the reason why is because of, number one, he's a great actor. That like,
fantastic.
Yeah, like a wonderful actor, and he loves playing that character. So I don't think they would not kill him just to not bring him back.
Right.
So I think they will definitely bring him back, and I think that's going to be
I hope he is
more Mandalorian side of stuff.
yeah.
How though is my question, because he's very, very attached to the village of Mos Pellish.
Yeah, he is very Tatooine based. I think that the next
all out
time
war
would be
to go and retake Mandalore. He's gonna call on all his friends, and it's okay because not only it's
Avengers, and it's just like a bunch of characters.
Exactly.
It's the entire Rebel fleet.
Mandalorian. Mando will
Jumping
have
from
a dark saber. All these characters that we haven't seen
versus Thrawn and stuff.
Would be crazy.
Max
They're
Rebo's there.
That will be their Howard the Duck cameo, but it will be Max Rebo, and it will be like, "Well, Max Rebo's alive," and all this time we thought he was dead, but he's really alive.
He's just playing music while the battle's going on.
He's like dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I would lose that. I would be like, this is great of the lineup they have, but if Max Rebo is in the corner, I would lose it. But no, but that is really what it's leading up to, is this giant battle, like endgame battle, of where we'll see Luke. We'll see Ahsoka. We'll see all these other people helping Mando take back, take back the planet Mandalore, and then we'll see Thrawn of being the main villain of the show. Because I feel like Thrawn will be Thanos. I know we're comparing it to Marvel, but Thrawn is really going to be
the big bad.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ends up being like a Yuzong Vong thing. That would be interesting.
That would be really cool of bringing that stuff from Legends into it.
If they, I think that would be one like a little Easter egg thing that would blow people's minds if they did because Thrawn's been in like the way outer rim side.
So explain that to the people that don't know, because that really is like a Legends deep cut.
I'm the people that don't know, by the way. Too.
Oh, you don't know
that to me.
Like Yuzong Vong War is
huge.
I don't know how to explain. How do you explain? Like it's the biggest. It was the war that happens after the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And
in Legends, so it's no longer canon.
It's no longer canon. It was one of the biggest. It was like the biggest event because it was a bunch of people who came from a completely different galaxy over, and all of their stuff is organic.
Yeah.
Their ships are organic, the weapons they use are organic, everything's organic, and they hate
You
machinery.
could compare them to the Flood from Halo, I guess.
So sick.
Yeah. But and what happened during that war is actually
more than half the galaxy gets annihilated.
Yeah, and Chewie actually dies by
jeez.
Yeah, by saving Han's son Anakin, and he's like holding he is trying to stop a planet, like half of the planet trying to fall on top of the Falcon, and he's holding up this rock, and he gets them to safety.
Isn't that part of the reason why they decided to cherry pick certain things from the extended universe?
Yeah,
it's because they didn't want Chewie to die. One of the big reasons.
Yeah, because if Chewie died in Rise of Skywalker, bro, everyone would riot. Because I was hoping that they wouldn't, do it, and then when everyone in the theater thought that they did, I was like, no.
See, I heard
they wouldn't do that.
I think
it was a big IP.
I think they're gonna keep on throwing in little Easter eggs to fan favorite stuff for I would love to see some more fan favorite stuff for Thrawn, like his little I forget what it's called, the lizard that eats the Force on his shoulder.
Yep.
I would love to see that. I think that would blow people's minds on screen. Little things that like just pop up. Do you think they would do anything with? Are they leading up to anything with cloning people who can use the Force? I feel like that's a big
Snoke.
Yeah,
They already hinted at that in Mando season 2 of where they go on that base, and we actually see like a weird version of what Snoke
Right.
is.
Yeah.
We don't
they
know
had
that
the
that's
things in the
Snoke
test
yet.
tubes.
But if you look at it, bro,
I know, but we don't know that that's necessarily Snoke yet, and neither do we know what like Camino stuff is going on.
yeah.
Neither do we really know what was going on with Omega, which
But
makes me
isn't
think
that-
that there's some Force thing that they're trying to clone here.
Well, I mean, we're not going to see anything more from Camino, obviously, because it was, bombarded from
They've been
space.
moved to a
Bad
different
Batch.
location, and
That's
we
what I'm
saw
saying.
that at the end of Bad Batch, but we don't know where that is. We don't know if that's the same place of where we like saw Commando Gregor. Like at first, we don't know if that's the same location or this is a completely different like base.
As well, I'd say, like, as far as the test tubes and cloning people with the Force, wasn't that implied that was like Moff Gideon's goal or whatever, or was giving orders to Moff Gideon? That's why they wanted Grogu in the first place, right? Was so that they could take samples from him and to like clone him or something like that.
Isn't it hinted at they're not clones, but they are trying. The Empire is trying to get Force sensitive users as like stormtroopers and stuff. That's why Finn was kind of hinted.
Yeah.
He had the Force in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, because there is a line.
I think the Empire with the First Order.
Yeah,
You're absolutely correct, Brad, because I forget where it is because I haven't seen the sequel in a long time, but there's a line somewhere in, I think, the last, or The Force Awakens, where they say, like, the First Order Stormtroopers are special or something like that. We're all special.
Well, even Finn saying, like, hey, Ray, there's something I need to tell you. Like, it was because he was, like, Force sensitive, right?
yeah. Can we also talk about how in the Rise of Skywalker, how they had Sith troopers and they weren't Force sensitive, and we didn't see them do anything that really involved the dark side? It was just stormtroopers with a new red.
It's
with
because
the
they're
red.
offspring of people who are Sith worshippers or something.
Yeah, I know, but I was just like, that was such like I was like Sith troopers. I'm thinking of the Old Republic because of that is what they were called. So I was like, oh my gosh, like that's gonna be cool. Like they'll be very similar, and it's like, nope, it's just
I always wanted
They're
to see
ancestors.
the Emperor's Royal Guards, like, fight. Like, because those are supposed to be, like, the best guards, aren't they?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
like
like
the
that.
red robes. Like, that would be cool to see.
That'd be a cool thing to see in Emperor. Be a neat thing, like infiltrate the Emperor's like palace chamber. We get to see live action Emperor on the throne again, and we get to see a fight actually with the Emperor's guards.
Mason, you are breaking up so bad right now, buddy.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Okay, is this better?
Emperor on the throne.
Okay. I think that would be
I do understand where you're coming from. And I think we could see something like that, which I think would be a great plot. I don't know if they would ever do it, but if they're like, hey, why don't we try and end the war? Cassian, you and a flight crew will go to, this like to this assembly that the Empire's doing, and you will try to assassinate the Emperor, and then they end up trying to, and it fails, and then all the Empire's like, because of that would be really cool.
You're here.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, official Empire Day is on May 20th.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's on my birthday. I share the same birthday as Ezra Bridger. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very nerdy, but yeah.
Alan Bridger.
But yeah, so I can't wait to Celebration because all that news will like drop and all the trailers are dropping.
Is there going to be a lottery system?
Yes, Josh, there will be a lottery.
I hate lottery systems. I
Man,
hate lottery
cannot
systems.
What are you
stand
looking forward to
lottery
the most
system.
at Celebration? If you could pick one thing, do or see.
I would be at the Lucasfilm panel, which is the number one thing that they're doing on that Thursday. Like, I want to be there because of no joke. It will be talking about Kenobi and all their their big future projects, and then and most of the actors and people who have worked on the projects will be right there at the panel. And then what the big rumor is, and most likely will happen because they've done this in the past, where they will show the first 2 episodes of Kenobi at that panel on that Thursday, and then the next day is when it will go to the public.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which that whole weekend's going to be so long, bro, because it's going to be Star Wars news left and right. But something that not that many people are talking about is that Michael Waldron has begun work on the new Kevin Feige Star Wars movie.
Which I just heard about today. I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it doesn't take away from his Marvel work too much, though. Like, I would love to see something produced by Kevin, like doing Star Wars, because he does amazing work, but also,
he's a big Star Wars fan too. Like, he's a big Star Wars fan.
Who isn't?
Yeah, well, and you like normally don't have to say, well, hey, I can prove to be that I'm a big Star Wars fan. Kevin Feige has, I think he has over. He has at least over 100 of the Black Series like sail barges. Like, he bought a bunch of them.
Why?
Yeah, at his house, like over 100. I think David said that it might be 200, and he wanted to buy it because he wanted that project to get off the ground. So he bought a bunch of them, and he's been a big Star Wars fan for a while, and he's been saying what they've been doing with Marvel, he wants to do with Star Wars. Which at this point it would be, they're already doing that. And that's with Mando and Ahsoka and Book of Boba.
So like, you'd make some great content.
Yeah, Feige did Black Panther, huh?
What?
He's done a lot more than that.
Are you kidding me, Mason?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure. I'm not in the know about this.
Do you know who Kevin Feige is?
Yes, he's the president.
Have you seen Chef?
No, I've never seen Chef.
Have you seen Chef? Okay,
I just didn't did Black Panther.
Yes, it's Black Panther is part of the MCU. Of course, he was part of that. He's part of every single MCU film and show that has ever been made.
Good to know. Cool.
Oh my goodness.
Look, I don't know actors and I don't know people in the industry.
Mason.
Okay? Look, I'm sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, no.
Back to our Star Wars podcast.
Fair. So I think that movie will be great. There have been a lot of different Star Wars projects that have been, picked up by people and then dropped. For example, after The Last Jedi came out, Kathleen Kennedy was like, "Hey, Rian Johnson will be directing the next Star Wars trilogy." And then people watched The Last Jedi, and no joke, it was legit because there was a sketch on Jimmy Kimmel of where Rian Johnson was there, and then Jimmy Kimmel was pitching Rian Johnson of what the new Star Wars trilogy would be about. And it was just funny because of then, after it got the backlash that it did, it never got off the ground. And it's been said that Rian Johnson is that he's still doing it, but that was said back in 2019. That was 3 years ago. It's probably not going to happen. And then there's also the other movie which hasn't been talked about. I'm going to butcher his name. He's the guy that has done Thor Ragnarok.
Taika Waititi.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna stutter on it, so I was like, nope, I can't say no. Nope, you're good. But yeah. So he is directing a Star Wars movie,
and that's supposed to come out before this one that Kevin Feige
correct
is.
And that movie will have a twist on his perspective of Star Wars, and it's gonna have that vibe of Ragnarok,
and they're giving him
Thor
like creative freedom within reason.
A lot of creative freedom,
and he's great creative director. So like I'm
I
excited
know.
to see what he
So do you
comes
think they're gonna give him like who are the two stormtroopers that like they did the comics on and people really liked? It was like a comedy where they like caused a whole bunch of stuff to happen.
Tag and Bink. Tag and
That's the kind
Bink.
of thing that
I
that's the kind of thing
I loved that comic book series.
that's the kind of thing I think he's gonna do.
They were in all of like the major like events that happened in Star Wars, like in the background. So so you know that scene in A New Hope where like Obi-Wan is messing with the with the tractor beam and he makes that noise and there's those two stormtroopers that are just like hey, maybe it's another drill. And Legends should have been canon, and they were actually hoping to bring them into Solo, like of Ron Howard, but like they didn't. Those two characters, like were supposed to be canon, and those characters were just in like every major event, and it was the funniest thing. So if they did something like that, Josh,
That's
oh
what
my
I'm saying,
god,
is
yeah,
that scene where he directs where they're trying, like the stormtroopers are trying to shoot the can or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like such like a Tag and Bink kind of thing. And I was like, I think that he would nail something that was close to that kind of stuff.
Even in Mandalorian, when the two scout troopers are just sitting on the speeders.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly that's the scene I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
It's funny because they're all in the movies are just standing around and you're like, what do you think they're talking about all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh man, that would be super cool. I could also, all right. So in Legends, like, and the way like near, like like long after Mando and Rey and everything, there was there was the story of Cade Skywalker, which he's like the great grandkid of Luke. And
the one that just gets drunk all the time and just doesn't care.
Yeah. And Luke shows up as a Force ghost to him, and he like just tries to reason with him and be like, "Really, you are having more spice? You're having another death stick, dude? You're Force sensitive. What are you doing?" Like,
I think that'd be hilarious. That would be such a switch on everything.
Something like that. Like, boom, it's still in the Skywalker saga, and honestly, it would be a great time. It would be a great time. Because if I remember reading his stories and like he's like fighting like these Sith lords that try and come back and it's not really like an empire or anything. It's just like, hey, we've read lightsabers, we're Sith lords now, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then Cade Skywalker's like, oh, I guess my name's Skywalker, I gotta be involved. So
it's really fun.
Or two Siths fighting each other, like, because there's not like a rule 2, like maybe one of them has to like duel. We've never seen that.
I
would
want
like to see that in Kenobi. I would love to see some of that infighting in Kenobi so bad, where like the Sith Inquisitors start challenging each other, start like fighting each other. So many Sith in one place, man. They mess with each other all the time.
They also did that in the comics as well, because of when Vader meets the Grand Inquisitor for the first time, they actually have a fight like in the old Jedi library on Coruscant, and the Emperor tells the Inquisitor to kill Vader, and like as a test, and Vader wipes the floor with him, of course, because it is Vader, and then he's like, why on earth, like what the heck is this? And then he walks through a door and there's all these Sith Inquisitors, and that comic book story, those stories are really cool because of he like puts them in their place, and seeing it live action is going to be really, really cool to see.
So now are all the Inquisitors kind of like fallen Jedi that were kind of like brainwashed or whatever?
That's exactly what they are. Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah. But okay, so all right, so Josh, here's my question: If Cal Kestis shows up, are you hoping to see are you hoping to see Kryze and I can't think of her name. She's the one person that was like Cal Kestis's master quotations. Like her, Marin, Kryze.
Cal Kestis' master?
Well, like she was the one like that that was the master of the Sith Inquisitor, and then she like turned to.
Oh yeah, because she doesn't use the Force anymore. She's completely cut off.
Right, and then she like takes her apprentice's old lightsaber, and then she fights Vader with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have all. I would love to see them come back. Yeah, it's still very interesting because he has like. I wonder what he could do because I feel like he would be like Luke and try and teach stuff, and I feel like they would run across each other eventually. But we know that nothing really came of it, so he has so many different ways they can pop up. I honestly feel like he's gonna do some way out of rim stuff, like way out of rim stuff, or go to Jedi temples that we haven't seen before. That's what I really want to do.
There's a lot.
I would love to see a series based around like wild space, like unexplored territory in the galaxy.
Have you played Fallen Order?
I'm currently playing through a Fallen Order. I just got to death.
Yeah, it deals with a lot of the mystical elements. Also, like the history of Dathomir, which is really, really cool.
That's cool.
I would love to be able to see
I
more of
do need
that
to
kind of
get
stuff.
into that. Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in them.
The other question I had was after Order 66, Anakin must have known that Ahsoka wasn't a Jedi anymore. Would he have sent anybody after her to try and find her? Any of the Inquisitors? Anything?
She was always on the run. Her white blades actually came from a Sith Inquisitor that
doesn't he think that she's dead though?
Yes, okay. So Vader doesn't find out that Ahsoka's alive until season 2 of Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, because he finds her lightsaber.
In the crash.
Well, that happens at the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars, but he doesn't realize that Ahsoka is alive until the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Rebels season 2. That is when he finds out that Ahsoka's alive. And then that leads up to the fight when they have the fight on one of the Sith worlds, and then where like Maul comes in and everything.
Because I would imagine that even though she's not a Jedi, like he wouldn't want her running around like as a Force sensitive person.
No,
or her trained as a Jedi too.
But in their interaction, he kills her and doesn't at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
And then time gets rewritten because Ezra goes into the world between worlds, which is something I'm hoping that we see, and it's something we definitely talked about.
Because Ahsoka's like even design is based off of what it looks like inside.
Yeah.
So like their title card looks just like was it called the Veil? I forget what it's called.
It is called the World Between Worlds.
World Between Worlds. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Got a lot of that like
name of
Force
it. And
design.
And what we talked about was her going through time, and because I think it was a podcast that I think Josh and I I was just him and I doing it, and we were talking about it of where it'd be great if Ahsoka like went back to the World Between Worlds somehow, and then like she ended up like going through different time periods like in the galaxy, and then she kind of rekindled her faith in the Jedi. Because at this point after the Clone Wars, she's like, they're dead. I'm no longer a Jedi. I don't care. And I think we kind of saw her
goes all the way to the point of episode 9, and then she whispers through it during that one scene with all the Jedi.
That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. And I really hope that Ashley Eckstein does have involvement in the show.
Because I'm saying like Ahsoka would be great to have, is the one character that I know that we can have through all the generations of Star Wars. So I feel like it'd be great to have her be able to explain all the things. We get to see all this, like what it's all amounted to through the Skywalker saga through her eyes. And I feel like the Space Between Spaces would be the greatest place to show that. Because you can show past, present, and future through it. So
I think it'd be cool if Ashley could like cameo in the Ahsoka movie too, like
as like a younger version.
Well, just kind of like how Anthony Daniels just kind of showed up in was it episode 2 in the bar?
Yeah,
like as himself. Like it would be cool just to
that
see it was like
that would be really funny to see Ashley like right there in the background.
I am hoping we get Arnold James Taylor to show up in the Kenobi series because he voiced Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars for so many years. Like seeing him as a Imperial officer in the show, because if he did the Obi-Wan Kenobi fan film, he showed up in that as an Imperial officer, and I'm like, that's great. But if we had that canon of where, like, you know, he came in because of Matt Lanter, who plays Anakin, he played someone from the New Republic and in the Mandalorian, and he ends up getting shot by the Twilight character. I can't think of her name, but having those actors come back would be really cool. I think Ashley Eckstein, if she came back and she actually played a younger version of Ahsoka in one of the flashbacks for Kenobi, or maybe a flashback for the Ahsoka series, so that way technically she's still playing Ahsoka, but like it's just a younger version of her. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. At least have her involved at some capacity because she was huge and bringing the character to life.
Yeah, she was the first one to bring that character to life.
Yeah.
So she definitely deserves that.
Yeah.
Whether it be or whatnot. If I could go back to really quick, because it was something that I wanted to say, like talking about Lando Calrissian and whatnot, I really, really hope that Donald Glover gets to reprise his role as Lando.
You are hoping that Donald Glover comes back and reprises his role.
Yes, as Lando. Okay. I would like to see. I very much would like to see Donald Glover as Lando. That was like the
Josh's reaction is killing me. Stop it. Go.
Donald Glover is the person that made me like Lando as much as I do. I love
what?
Donald Glover. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Wait, whoa!
I love Billy D. Williams, but Donald Glover is.
Donald Glover is why you like Lando more. Not Billy D. Williams.
He was the one who's finally sold it for me. He was the one who finally.
He's just a Childish Gambino fan. What can I say?
You really are saying that to that face? Are you kidding me?
I'm not saying that Billy D. Williams isn't a huge part of why I like Lando Calrissian, but for me it had always been either Han Solo or something like that. But
I love how smooth he was in the old movies. That's what sold it to me.
Yeah, dude.
And going back and watching Solo, and then we watched the original trilogy. It made me appreciate Billy D. Williams more than I did. And I will say that. So Donald Glover was my reintroduction to Calrissian as a character. And I'm very thankful for that, because going back and re-looking at Lando as a character, it's something that I wouldn't have thought of with all the other characters that are big and flashy and around that make so much impact. But yeah,
listen.
So
everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yours might be wrong, but that's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't you come at me like that. This is the toxic Star Wars fan base right here.
Billy D is just so
being attacked.
Classic, man. He's so iconic.
And I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm not saying that Billy D. Williams isn't also part of the reason that I love Lando Calrissian, because he's the one who played more of Lando than Donald Glover. He was the original.
Donald Glover played him once. He played him one time.
Exactly. But it was going back and seeing him in Solo and being introduced to the idea of who Lando is. That is what.
Do you feel the same way about Alden playing Han Solo in that movie? Are you oh hey, Alden has made me enjoy
Han Solo when I was a kid? Han Solo.
I'm having a heart attack right now. If you say Harrison Ford was not your
dude
love for Han Solo.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, Han Solo was when I was a kid, a character that as a kid, Han Solo was a character that I immediately grasped onto. I don't know what it was about Lando, whether it just whether as a kid he was shadowed by Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Chewbacca and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he had been overshadowed by that, and I hadn't thought about it until I had seen Lando again in Solo. But that was the moment where I was like, oh my god, I think Lando Calrissian is my favorite character. See him again, and I went back and watched all the films. And I was like, oh my god, he is amazing.
Yeah, I always wanted to be Han growing up, but when I grew up to be Luke Skywalker. Like and yeah.
Are you Luke
Okay.
Skywalker?
Well, I
mean-
am not Luke Skywalker. I am like Luke Skywalker. That's what I'm. Hey, Colin Weaver's out the door, man. Like I am Luke Skywalker now.
You're
No.
Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
You've heard it.
Flag.
Cast for Mando season 3.
Oh, God. You all know what I meant. But
I feel like you embody like someone who doesn't care about things anymore that they used to.
Okay, fine. I will say I grew up being Luke Skywalker from like to the point of Return of the Jedi. I am nothing like what we see in the Last Jedi.
Okay.
I like
You wait.
even Mark.
You wait till
even
you get
Mark
that
Hamill
age.
said- yeah, even Mark Hamill, like when they were doing the Last Jedi, he was like, "Listen, I disagree with everything you're doing with this character. I want nothing. Like I'm so disappointed in your decision of it." And then he paused and he was like, "But I will do everything in my power to bring this image of Luke Skywalker that you want, so I can still keep playing him."
Yeah, he still wants to be involved with
Yeah.
Star Wars very much, and I love that about him. His passion.
Yeah, and him, coming back and doing Luke for Mando and Book of Boba, like
Mhm.
all that new Luke stuff was incredible, and that jump from CGI Luke to deepfake Luke, like I lost it when we saw like deepfake Luke and Book of Boba. It was like back from the 80s. It was like, my gosh, this is amazing, and I really hope. I really, really, really hope that that when or if we get the Lando series, that it starts off as Lando, kind of doing what they did with the Hobbit movies, of where Lando is just like, oh, like these are the chronicles of my adventures. Like, let's check it out.
Since we're all smugglers here, how awesome would it be if Hondo showed up in the Lando series?
Oh my God, I would lose it.
That would be so cool.
Oh, that would be so good. Could you imagine that?
Everyone wants a live action
Together.
Hondo.
Everyone wants it. Everyone wants it. I don't get why they're not doing it. I like Book of Boba would have made complete sense because of Hondo and Django had a history, and then Boba and Hondo had a tiny bit of history.
And when people go to Galaxy's Edge, they're not like, "Oh, Jack Sparrow."
Yeah. No, that happens all the time. It's like, wow, it is Space Jack Sparrow. Like it's Captain Jack, but it's like, no, it's Hondo Ohnaka. Who's that guy? I have no idea. But I think it would be great if he shows up in Kenobi. I think that would be great.
Oh, that would also be really good.
I know,
for them
but
to like reference back to what happened in Rebels, where Hondo captures Ezra, and Hondo's like, "What? Who is this child?" And Ezra goes, "Lando Calrissian." He's like, "Oh, Lando, you're shorter than I remember."
I just
Or
think a
something
live
like that.
action
Like
version of him could be so funny and like so entertaining.
and that's why I was
Like,
hoping it was going to be in the Book of Boba.
Yeah.
Because of because of it's not like we are trying to picture of what live action Lando would look like. We know exactly what live action Hondo looks like because we see him every day. So it's like it's there. The Jim Cummings loves that character. He loves playing that character a lot. So it's.
I was thinking we might have seen Han in the Boba Fett, maybe, but that would have been so awkward if Han was just like, "Oh."
No,
Like,
not
so-
Hondo, right?
No, Han Solo.
Han
Oh, Han
Solo.
If Han
okay.
showed up.
Han Solo and Chewie.
If you were just like, "Oh,
Weird.
I
I
accidentally
wanted
killed
that.
you."
No, I wanted that to
would've been so
happen.
awkward.
I wanted to see Chewie and Black Chrysanthemum just have a fight, like and in the streets of Mos Espa. That
They may still eventually.
I miss the
Maybe shout out Mess
Gamorrean guards, the pigs. Is that what
Yeah.
the name is? I miss those guys. They died so easily. They just
Oh God.
pushed off the cliff.
yeah.
Like, I really like the pigs.
Thick boys.
They were great.
They were squealing off that. They were like, "Ah!" I was like, oh man, no.
like you're gonna have this awesome battle at the end, but then they're like the first one to die or something like that.
Yeah.
Really, truly ripping droid got detonated in the hangar by the villain.
Also, I think the
Finish
Rancor
it.
scene at the end would have been more powerful if we could have seen like one episode with Boba kind of like training the Rancor a little bit more, because There's just that one line where he says,
Hands down, bro.
I want to ride
Hands
it. Like, and then it's like, fast forward, and then he's riding it. But.
Yeah, no, there, yeah. just like a, help me out. I'm
Like a panther.
Like Panther.
Yeah, no. I listen. I like Boba Fett. I thought it was great. I just think all the stuff with Mando just overpowered it, and I think it lost its.
Well, and when you see him Boba first show up in Mando, like his action scene was really awesome, like bashing the stormtrooper helmets and stuff, and then it kind of, I felt like got watered down a little bit in his fight scenes.
He shows up in a bathrobe in one of the episodes after Black Chrysanthemum like beats the crap out of him. They
In
like
my
put him in
opinion,
the Rancor pit. He
It's
wouldn't have
Robert
walked down.
Rodriguez. He can make really good fight scenes and action scenes, but I feel like he had much more liberal freedom to do what he wanted in just a single episode when they brought him in, than a full series that has to go somewhere and has to lead to something and has to do something. I feel like when a movie studio meddles with what he's trying to make, it doesn't work out. All the things he has made has been just him knowing what he's doing what he likes. And I feel like that is literally what just got lost in translation, is that, oh, wow, the studio going to meddle with what I like to do, and I can't do as much as I want to.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people have left like some certain Star Wars projects because of the
differences. Studio meddling, it's gonna happen, especially with Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
Those are the two ones that people like are on a project, off a project, on a project, off a project.
Phil Lord and his brother left Solo halfway through, and they actually had a recast. Let's see, they recast Dryden Voss to Paul Bettany, and they also
Wasn't it meant to be Darth Maul originally?
No, it wasn't. It was a totally different actor. It was like a it was like a Back to the Future type situation where Eric Stoltz was Marty, and then they're like, well, he's not funny enough. Like, let's have Michael J. Fox come in. It was like that. That's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and I also remember like Ron Howard being like, Alden does not know what he's doing. He needs more acting lessons. And they took a break from filming his stuff, and they filmed the rest of the movie like without filming his scenes until like he got his stuff down.
I mean, yeah, I feel like some of his mannerisms though were like pretty good for Han. Like I still think he did a good version.
No. I think he did, but I feel like if we got the original version of Solo that we were supposed to get, it probably wouldn't have been as good.
Like I heard that opening scene was supposed to be like towards the end.
Yeah.
With what is the slug's name? I forget.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Of
Lady Proxima or something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Of the scene where he's like, and she's like, "It's a rock."
Just made that sound weird.
I agree with you, Brad. Actually, I will say this: I know a lot of people like didn't like Solo, but in that time period, Solo felt like the first movie that encapsulated that Star Wars feel that I had whenever I was watching the original trilogies for the first time in a long time. I think Solo did a great job of capturing that.
So they're using technology to make Luke look younger, Mark Hamill or whatever. Would you have wanted that for Harrison Ford?
Yes,
if they could do that. Like
yes,
I agree.
Yes, because it's now don't get me wrong, Donald Glover did a great job as Lando, but I think if they did what they did with Luke for Mando and did that in Solo, I think that would have made the movie better. Because of Solo wasn't necessary. We didn't need it. It of not even watching that movie doesn't help change the plot. It doesn't add to the plot of Star Wars, really. Because the only thing that actually adds to the plot would be Darth Maul showing up. Because it's like, ooh, Crimson Dawn.
And it's like we don't even
Wow.
know if we're gonna see that continued, like
Right, no,
live action.
no,
So it's like
no.
it was so random.
But
I feel like.
I don't think we needed his origin story as a movie. A show, I think it would have worked better because we would have more time with the character. But I felt like it just wasn't as necessary as people think it is.
I thought they might have done something with Darth Maul in, or at least Kira in the first episode of Boba Fett when he got attacked with all the shields going around him.
Yeah.
I thought that might have been Crimson Dawn. So maybe they would have continued Darth Maul for just like a second.
I was hoping
that.
Crimson Dawn would show up in the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That honestly would have been the perfect place for Crimson Dawn to show up in. But again, we didn't get that. We didn't get like Old Man Watto. We got nothing.
That would have been hilarious.
I know, like, hey.
Barely like hanging on. That'd be great.
Be like, whoa, something else is happening in my town.
It's like the wings don't even work anymore. He's just like
He just walks around with a cane. Yeah,
I actually used to have that.
So you think he's gonna show up in like,
Watto.
in like in the?
Attack of the Clones one? What?
You think he's gonna show up in the new series?
I don't know
Kenobi?
if they're gonna do anymore with Watto.
I'm hoping that he shows up to the
Vader goes to Tatooine. Like completely like.
Oh, little Annie.
Ah!
He's like, no.
You killed my mother.
Yeah, it's like how did that was a good Hayden. Dang. But yeah, no, I'm really hoping the actor shows up at the 20th anniversary Attack of the Clones panel. Because he did not show up to the Phantom Menace one, but I think it would be great if he showed up at the Attack of the
I
Clones.
hope also in Obi-Wan they kind of address like why they can't find Luke. because it's just like, why wouldn't Darth Vader think to look on his like home planet, like where his like uncle essentially was? Like that's a huge like question.
Does he not know that they are alive?
Like, that'd be the most obvious place.
What?
That he has kids, like his kids are alive.
He knows
No,
he has a son, right?
No,
He doesn't know that they're alive.
no.
Or that he has-
Because of he is told that Padme died because of Vader. So he's like, in his brain, he's like, oh, I
So
killed
my
my
kids
wife.
died too.
I killed my baby. But he doesn't know that it was twins. He only knew it was going to be one baby.
But
Wait,
find out that Luke exists then.
Yeah.
hold on though. But wait a
What?
minute, because don't forget that something got lost in translation and covered up between the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy. Where like didn't Princess Leia at some point go like, you would have talk? Doesn't she talk about her mother and like having like fond memories with her mother or something like that? Doesn't
like,
that?
I mean, 6 Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
she does say.
Yes, well, he finds out in Return of the Jedi, yeah, that he has a daughter too.
So does Darth Vader really know? Technically, if we're
So I mean,
talking
I
about
just
the original
at this
trilogy
point,
without
it's
the
just kind of
prequels
like
attached to it.
at this point, he's kind of like looking at where Obi-Wan is rather than anything else, because I feel like he would know or have seen that holocron.
Yeah.
Rather than like know that his child is alive and out there at this time.
I would like to know this, and I really hope they explain it, of why, if Owen was so like strict on, the Empire not finding out who Luke was, then why did Luke keep the Skywalker name? Like, why? Because of no joke, that is like no, think about it. How does that make sense? Are we putting logic into it where, hey, for Earth, some of us have the same last names, but we have no relation to each other. So is it like that? We're like, hey, this is Gary Skywalker. Is he related to Anakin Skywalker? Probably not. No, but he's got the same last name. Is that the logic that they're going with?
Do you think?
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking
Hold on,
about that. I was like,
this could be a huge plot hole. Hold on. Do you think Luke has an Imperial code cylinder? Because every person in Star Wars has to have Imperial credentials, right? Like they have to have them.
what?
Imperial law. We saw that in Bad Batch. where they were
If you
having everyone
don't leave
turn
the
over
planet,
their.
Luke has never left the planet until episode 4. So he
I don't
wouldn't
know.
have
I
one.
think the Empire still would have required them to have some kind of identification
Sure they can
for a
make
stormtrooper
fake
for their
ID.
kind of rule.
Han
Because
also
if
has
that
his
was the
own
case-
ship, so he never had one too. Chewie never had one because they had their own ship, so they never had to go to a spaceport. Including with Obi-Wan, most likely he ends up getting smuggled off planet, and then that's how.
Wouldn't
Because
they
of
have to have some kind of identifier to get from planet to planet? Like, there's got to be some kind of planetary customs.
Obi-Wan
With
just
that,
uses
right?
Jedi mind tricks.
well, right, but I mean, but Mason,
For
think
Luke
about
Skywalker.
it. Not that wouldn't make sense if you have your own ship. You are not going to need one because because the whole point of having one is like, it's. I mean, for example,
What's your chain code?
yeah,
Chain code. That's it. Sorry.
when you're going to the Disney parks, you have your ticket, right? You like
Right.
scan it, go on through, they know who you are.
Right.
Right? But if you have your own ship, you're not going through the same entrance as as you would be.
I feel like this is a weird analogy.
was that?
I was trying to make it make sense, and then I was like, this is going nowhere.
I mean, still, like when you enter a planet, obviously there are Imperial satellites that monitor ships that go in and out of Imperial space. That's just how it is. Like we see
Yeah, I guess.
all the time. Like even the New Republic monitors people that are flying sublight. And they have like, officers to pull them over and ask for their credentials. Everyone has credentials, it's just like having a driver's license or something like that. Like identification. And you can't tell me that the Empire, the way that it was run, the way that it's been, would not require every citizen to have identification.
Yeah.
Do you think Luke got away with that because he was outside of the city in a moisture
Yeah,
farm?
because he's on Tatooine.
Was his
Like,
ID
it's
fake?
literally.
Or was his name running around somewhere in the Imperial database and some officer
Mason,
That's his
you
name and went,
are
"Yeah,
you are just
that's weird."
extending this. I guarantee you he didn't have
I
one.
don't know.
I guarantee he didn't have one because of he never left the planet. The only reason why you would need one is if you were leaving the planet or the Empire, like really knew who you are. I mean, I think Owen maybe would have one, but they were trying to make sure that Luke was never on the radar.
Right,
So
yeah.
it would make no sense if Luke got one, because if Luke got one, then that wouldn't be able to explain of why Vader didn't know who he was and all these people
But Luke
It
always
just seems
talks about,
weird
like,
that no
friends
one's
leaving.
Yeah.
And like if any one of them left the planet and like they're just talking like, oh, I have a friend Luke Skywalker at home. If anybody heard like the Skywalker name, like wouldn't that raise alarms?
Right.
Maybe?
But again, there's the question: why on earth, if they were trying to keep that name so secret, why on earth would like they not change his name? If they say Luke Skywalker and Kenobi, I want Obi-Wan to be like,
Unless
why
Vader didn't want people to know his name, because remember in Return of the Jedi, when Luke calls him Anakin, he says
that name has
no meaning or whatever. But so like maybe Vader doesn't even want people knowing his name was like Anakin Skywalker, so he's not saying like, oh,
he
go
also
search
kills
for Skywalkers or something.
He also kills anyone that knows
it,
that he's Anakin, and that was made very clear in the comics because of
They said it to the clones.
Yeah. And by the way, I was really glad that the clone that found out was Commander Fox, because I thought that guy was an asshole. I did not like him at all in the Clone Wars. And I think we will see different versions of what we're talking about, I could definitely see Obi-Wan like saying Anakin's name like in front of a Sith Inquisitor, and then Vader's right next to him, and then Vader just takes down that Sith Inquisitor, and then he goes like straight for Obi-Wan, and then that's how they start their fight, because Obi-Wan will be able to sense like, oh my gosh, this is Anakin, I don't even recognize you, like this is crazy. And I think that's gonna be crazy. I think what would be great is during like the first fight they actually have, or the final fight of that they have, and then like Vader thinks like he killed Obi-Wan, would be like of where Vader would hear Qui-Gon's voice or or something, and like during that fight, or that's when Qui-Gon would appear as a Force ghost. I think that would be really, really cool. Like just to throw Vader off in time for Obi-Wan to escape and fake his own death, because at the end of the series, everyone's got to think Obi-Wan is dead, or they would keep hunting Obi-Wan. And if you watch A New Hope, like in the database, everyone thinks Obi-Wan is dead.
Do you think that maybe Vader could find out about Luke if he confronted Obi-Wan and Vader could sense like the fact that he was hiding Luke? Because you know how like Kylo Ren in later Star Wars episodes could kind of get information out of people.
Yeah.
Like, do you think Vader like was strong enough to be able to know that he has a son and like feel the Force energy like through Obi-Wan when he confronts him?
I think he's so blinded. I know this is like a really like, you know, like a lazy writing, but honestly, I think he's so blinded by the dark side. I think he's not even thinking about that, because of when you're blinded by hatred and when you're blinded by, you know, power and victory, you lose sight of things. And that's exactly what happened to Snoke. Because of he was so set on, oh, hey, you know, I've he was like, I've got right here, I've got Kylo, I've got him wrapped around my finger. This is it. This is the end. And then Kylo turns against him because he was so blinded by, you know, the power that he had. And then he ends up getting killed because of it. And I think we'll definitely see Vader when he sees Obi-Wan, he'll definitely be triggered. And that won't even be on his mind. It'll be like, I need to get payback for what you did to me. Like that yeah, that's exactly what's going to be happening. And it's, yeah. But yeah, guys, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of new stuff coming out. We all hope you had a great Star Wars day and everything. Please go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. Our Patreon is changing after Star Wars Celebration. That's a big question that we've been getting. The way we do Patreon is completely changing. There's new stuff coming out. I know Matt's working on like a big thing for the prequel ships, which that will continue. And yeah, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please go on Spotify, on Anchor, on all podcast streaming platforms. Please let us know what you think, and then also keep sending us emails. Keep sending us messages. We love all of it, and we keep doing this for you guys. We love Star Wars. We know you do, and we just, you know, we're glad that you take the time out of your day and, you know, on long car rides and on your way to work, you know. Thank you. So, Brad, do you have any ending
If you're interested in following me, I have an Instagram. It's Marvel Jedi, and there's an _ between those. I want to thank you guys for having me on the Star Wars stuff. I had a blast, and maybe we can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
To have you.
Yeah, because it's funny because of whenever I talk to Brad at work, it's like, why aren't we podcasting right now? But
nerd out all the time.
Yeah. So, but guys, thank you so much for listening. From Brad, Josh, Mason, and myself, the Force will be with you always.
Always.
Maybe.
Brought to you by the Star Wars Podcast.